This is an extremely important and historic Minatogawa Shrine sword, signed by Masataka and presented to the captain of the Yomato battleship, Ariga Kosaku, with NTHK papers. The blade is in iconic Shinogi Zakuri construction, with Iori Mune, one Makugiana, and finely executed Kiri Yasurame. The Nakago is signed with the Kikusuimon, Masataka's signature, and made for the captain of the battleship Yamato, a day in the 4th month, the 17th year of Showa, and Kosaku Ariga's sword. Accompanying NTHK worksheet and Kantaisho origami confirms the Mei, and worksheet further translated as worn and gladly made for the captain of the battleship Yamato, a day in the 4th month, the 17th year of Showa. Ariga was the final captain of the Yamato battleship, the lead ship of the Yamato-class battleships in the Imperial Japanese Navy, and one of the heaviest and most well-armed battleships ever constructed. The Yamato was laid down at Kure on November 4, 1937, and was the flagship of the combined fleet in 1942 under Isoroku Yamamoto. It was present at the Battle of Midway, directed by Isoroku Yamamoto, but after the loss at Midway, Musashi became the flagship in 1943. Yamato was present at several of the most important battles in the Pacific, including the Philippine Sea, Leyte Gulf, and Samar, although it only fired its guns during Leyte Gulf. In 1945, the Yamato was sent on a suicide mission to engage American forces at Okinawa, with enough fuel for a one-way trip only, as part of Operation Tengo. Instead, they were sunk before reaching the island by Allied air forces. Her captain for that voyage, Kosaku Ariga, was a career officer whose first command was Yugao in 1929. He commanded several other ships until 1934, when he served the Chinkai Guard District from 1935 to 1937, before being assigned to the executive officership of the Sendai. He was promoted to captain in November of 1940 and commanded Destroyer Division 4 at the Battle of Midway and the Battle of Eastern Solomons. After training in the 1st Naval District in 1943 to prepare for taking command of the destroyer Chokai, he took command of Chokai but contracted malaria and was forced to return to Japan, where he was chief instructor at the Torpedo School until November 1944. On November 16, 1944, the Yamato joined 2nd Fleet, and Ariga was made her commanding officer on November 25th, which was compounded with a promotion to Rear Admiral. He commanded the Yamato until his death, when the Yamato was sunk, and legend says he tied himself to the bridge as the ship went down. Adding to the already incredible history of this sword is that it was made at Minatogawa Shrine by Masataka, who was considered to be among the best of the swordsmiths at Minatogawa. Minatogawa was the sister shrine to Yasukuni and produced swords for the Navy instead of the Army in traditional methods for important personnel. Due to the fewer number of smiths, the later start, and the tendency for swords from Minatogawa Shrine to have ended up at the bottom of the ocean, those swords are markedly rarer than Yasukuni swords. Masataka's real name was Moriwaki Kaname, and his first sword name was Morimitsu. He trained under Kajiyama Yasunori, Akita Yasumitsu, and Kotani Yasunori at Yasukuni, and was made a master swordsmith in 1940, when he was given the sword name Masataka. The blade is majestic and well representative of a top quality maker like Masataka, with an active and complex Gunome Haman, with plenty of activity, a tight and well-constructed Itame Hata, and a frosty Nioiguchi with areas of visible Nie. Hibaki has the Kikusuimon. Housed in a shirasaya and accompanied by the NTHK worksheet, a sword bag with the Kikusuimon, and an NTHK Kantaisho origami, this sword is overall excellent, very healthy, and in polish, with visible activity and features throughout. The Yasurame is masterfully executed, the Mei is clear and confidently cut. Swords with this level of artistic merit and historical importance are very few and far between, and the only sword that this cataloger is aware of even remotely comparable is the sword that belonged to Kaizo Kimura, the Chief of Staff of the Japanese Imperial Navy, and surrendered to Halsey on the USS Missouri at the conclusion of the war, September 2, 1945.